Secret Service.
Yeah, it was a good one. I liked it. Different, but too long again.
Too long.
But yeah. Needs which is kind of ironic considering the director was an editor, right? But yeah, too long. But overall, yeah, I liked the difference in the tone, and the story had more depth. And sometimes I felt like before I got a bit lost, like I didn't really know what was going on, didn't necessarily care what was going on because it was kind of goofy. But yeah, this one could follow a lot better. And
is that a good thing?
I think, well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what happened at the box office. I mean, like, you know, so for me it was a good thing. But it wasn't as like kind of light-hearted and just kind of, it felt more like a spy movie than an action movie.
Still a bit of a crazy storyline though, isn't it? All of these girls that have got
yeah.
allergies and so on.
Yeah, incredibly like fantastical. But I mean, I guess you could expect that, or at least that now with Bond.
Yeah.
But like I thought around that, like the story had, I mean, it's not got depth like other movies, but it has depth for a Bond movie.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that makes sense. I suspect that it's probably long because the director wanted to make it as close to the book as possible.
Yeah, which is like fair. But then, you know, like I guess towards the end, like the action like scene and stuff and the chase and what have you, that just kind of went on too long. Which is kind of funny because the chase on the skis is probably my favorite chase scene in a Bond movie so far.
Right, okay, so far.
Probably like my favorite like action part of a Bond movie so far. But it didn't need to happen twice.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, and then, you know, the scene when the same scene after the first ski chase and they go into the town, you know, it was like the tension wasn't there, it was just a swing and a miss. So like, there's parts in the movies where it's a swing and a miss, right? Like there's no tension in the movie and stuff.
I quite like that. I mean, I quite like that scene where he's back in the town and then he's back with Tracy, because that kind of adds a little bit of adds something to their relationship. Although I did notice at times through the movie you kind of forgot that she existed and it didn't quite work perhaps as well as they planned.
Yeah, it felt like she was off screen for about an hour, which is kind of like, I guess it's the story, but it just seemed like way too long. You know? Like it was like she was in a different movie almost. It's so much had passed. It was kind of
But Bond has some other women to
keep him occupied. Absolutely, he does. But for the sake of like the movie, it just kind of like it felt like really fragmented, and it was kind of again, which is ironic considering it was done by an editor.
Yeah. So obviously you know that in the 24 Bond films that there've been that it's not the same actor all the way through. Yeah. But I didn't tell you anything about this film, and you haven't looked on the internet, so you didn't know it was going to be. You didn't know for sure that it would be a different actor today, did you? No, like I know, like kind of, it felt like it was going to happen after like 5 movies, like sooner or later. I was waiting for it, but I didn't know it was going to be this one. So what did you think about the way they handled that? Yeah, I liked it. Like obviously at the beginning with like the montage of before, it was like kind of not. Yeah, there's obviously anxiety there. You mean when they were like showing clips in the titles from previous
it's kind of like seeing like they were kind of like holding like the audience's hand, like this is still a Bond movie kind of thing. But then it became its own with that like one liner like the other guy didn't do this or didn't go like this with the other guy. It's kind of cool, like it's, you know, kind of saying like, hey, this is still a Bond movie, but it's going to be different, you know, which I think it was different, and I think it worked as well. Yeah, I find it quite difficult to watch it and imagine Sean Connery in the role doing the same thing. I mean, just the very fact that you've got him falling in love is just brand new, isn't it? Yeah. From what we've seen so far. And getting married and stuff like that. So, and did you buy into that? Did you believe that there was a relationship there that would? No, do you think Bond would get married to Tracy? It seemed forced. Like incredibly forced, but like I'm into it, whatever. Like it's not, if it happened every movie, then it would be dumb. But like it happened once, and she died. Yeah. So like okay, that's cool. It's a little twist. Like, you're pleased that that's done and gone away with. Yeah, because I was thinking like, is he just like, you know, what's he doing? Is the wife at home? Like he's doing all this? It would have been a bit weird, like the dynamic, right? Yeah, but this was the first movie we've watched where you were kind of
talking out loud about what you thought might happen at the end of the movie and stuff like. You know, you were saying that you thought that when Bond first proposed to Tracy, I said, "Oh, I give it 6 months," and you said, "I don't know. I don't think she's going to last the engagement."
Yeah, I didn't. And then they got married at the end. I was pretty shocked at that actually.
Yeah.
But I didn't like that she just died at the end. Like I thought that was a bit cheesy. I think it would have been better if she just died off camera between movies, you know, or something like that.
Just quietly get rid of her and never mention her again, is that what you're
or just kind of like, you know, in the beginning of the next movie, just like, you know, a failed mission or something happened and she died off camera.
I think I'm right in saying that the original ending to the movie was going to be the wedding, and the pre-credit sequence to the next movie was going to be the killing of her.
Yeah, that would have been great. Yeah,
and that would then set up trying to get Blofeld in that movie.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah, it just seemed like it was too forced.
Certainly when the novels came out, this novel on Her Majesty's Secret Service came out before You Only Live Twice, and You Only Live Twice was Bond getting revenge on Blofeld, but they'd already done You Only Live Twice, that story, that movie doesn't have any real resemblance to the book at all.
Yeah.
So they've done things quite out of order, and so they probably weren't quite sure how to handle it. I think they had lots of decisions to make. So, just thinking about previous movies, we've talked in the past about how Q gives Bond some gadgets, often at the beginning of the movie. Sometimes Q will end up out in the field. Yeah. This time, very different. We didn't really kind of have that set up, did we?
Nah, we didn't. Nah. Well, he makes a cameo at the end, and he's not wearing shorts, so he's happy.
Yeah, that's true. You've picked up on some stuff there about the actor Desmond Llewellyn.
It was kind of like, it was kind of weird because the way that he was saying to Bond, like, we haven't seen eye to eye, it almost felt like they're racking the franchise up.
Yeah, like, maybe in a way, yeah.
Like it was like, that's how it kind of seemed to me. Like it was kind of like tying a knot in the whole thing.
I suppose also it's like they've got to a stage where they're fairly self-assured that they know that people are going to come out and watch these movies. Yeah. And it wasn't the best at the box office, but it did very well.
Right.
You know, it did really well. But yeah, so you had kind of different scenes. There's a little bit of, obviously there was quite a lot of moneypenny at the beginning when Bond wanted to resign as well, and that kind of set up later the fact that they were a little bit more flirty than normal, don't you think? There's a little bit of a kiss and stuff.
Yeah.
And then
the receptionist. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Sorry, that's her name.
Yeah.
So and then at the end she was a little bit, you know, weepy that Bond was. She's probably happy now that Tracy's dead, right?
Yeah, well, she will be happy when she hears the news. So.
And we got to see M not just in his office, but presumably at home dealing with his butterflies.
Oh yeah.
It's a bit weird, a bit unusual.
That was kind of odd,
yeah. But the gadget, I mean, one of the main gadgets in the movie, which is, it's not really big on gadgets, is the brilliant safe opening and photocopying device.
Yeah.
In that scene in Switzerland, that was quite I thought that was quite a suspenseful scene. What did you think?
Yeah, I guess like as suspenseful as Bond could be, I guess, in like this stage. Like it was kind of funny because there was this like juxtaposition of like it being suspenseful and the music being suspenseful, but then Bond being really cavalier and like reading Playboy. So it was kind of like, it was like, what are you doing here?
Yeah, I think he actually takes the centerfold out and keeps it as well.
Yeah, he does, and he's like reading it down the corridor on the way out. Hey?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so that was kind of like, it was like, it seemed a bit confused, like, what are you trying to get here, you know? So,
what did you think about the editing? Because before it started I said that like the director had been the editor on previous Bond films, and it's a slightly different style that he adopts. I always think that the fight scenes look particularly cool in this and quite modern. And you did say that the film you thought was kind of like a little bit more modern than the others.
Yeah, definitely.
What did you mean by that?
The fight scenes. Just the way they were caught and the kind of like the violence of them were kind of like the ante and stuff. Like that definitely just felt more modern. and just like the kind of speed of the movie as well felt a little more modern. Like, kind of like you could see like modern cinema coming in at that point. But then like throwbacks as well, you know, like when they're in the barn and like those kind of shots, you know, there's a romantic, like kind of innocent almost.
There's some soft focus going on.
That's it. Yeah, that's a good way.
Is that the kind of thing you mean?
Yeah, like you'd almost kind of like, you know, expect that scene to be in like Casablanca or something, not one. Like.
Yeah, it is weird to kind of see a love story kind of unfold in a way, but it doesn't unfold like you said earlier. It doesn't really unfold consistently through the movie, does it?
Yeah.
Because she is away from the action.
Yeah.
For so long, it's not not as convincing as it could be.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. But you do have that montage of them, like, you know.
Yeah.
Kind of like it kind of actually reminds me of the montage of Anakin Skywalker and Padme.
Okay. Yeah.
Prequels. But
well, I suppose these things start. I mean, that kind of montage has happened in all sorts of films.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that On Her Majesty's Secret Service was the first, but it's quite a good example of it, the way they do it. Have you ever seen The Naked Gun as well?
Oh yeah,
because there's a brilliant one in that where they show lots of different things that the couple do, and then it makes it. Then there's a one-liner that kind of suggests it all happened on one day.
Right. Yeah.
which is quite cool.
Yeah.
And we have the music as well. We have All the Time in the World going on in the background as well.
Yeah, we did.
Louis Armstrong.
Yeah. It's yeah, that was pretty cool that they added that song actually. I like that.
Yeah.
It was a little less kind of.
It was written for the movie as well.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah.
Oh,
It was written by John Barry, who did the incidental music.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's quite cool. And very unusual. I can't. Yeah, I'm not sure if that kind of thing crops up again.
Yeah, because it was kind of like like before the soundtracks were kind of, you know, like either like kind of soulful or like jazz, kind of like upbeat, kind of sexy, and then you got this one. So
we met Blofeld in the last movie.
Yeah.
We meet her again, but Bond and Blofeld don't recognise each other. Did that throw you off at all? Or
well, it did throw me.
That?
Yeah, no, it completely threw me because I like forgot the name, even though it's been like a week. And I was like, because at the beginning, like obviously I see him with the cat and everything, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's that's the baddie. But then like.
Do you think it's the same cat?
It looks like the same cat. There's got to be.
It'd be nice if they kept the same cat, even though they've got a different Blofeld.
Yeah, it would be quite funny. Like the cat's just like the set cat and everything. But like I use the scars and stuff like that just completely threw me. And stuff. It's kind of one thing changing the person, but then when you change all that as well, it's like why? I mean it completely threw me. I forgot like it was the same dude.
But do you think? He was a good Blofeld. Did you like the character? I mean, he's much smoother than the previous.
Yeah, I prefer them than the previous one. Yeah, I did. Like he was a little more like. Yeah, I don't want to say believable, but like just a little more fitting, not as like outrageous and like. Stuff
a little bit more hands-on as well. Really getting involved in the skiing and everything.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Going for it.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I really like the ski scene actually. Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah.
But no Scar like the last one. I mean, the Scar was pretty good in the last movie that Donald Pleasance had.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a bit creepy.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but I guess that was kind of fitting for like the kind of like that story and what have you. But this one, I don't know. Maybe he has plastic surgery. Who knows?
I don't think Donald Pleasance Blofeld could quite deliver the same kind of hypnotic psychology about chickens.
Yeah,
absolutely one of the most bizarre ideas ever, that you're going to wage biological warfare in such a way.
Yeah, it is kind of ridiculous. Like it kind of makes you wonder what's going through Fallon's mind.
And all he really wants now, apparently, is to retire and to have a pardon for all of his crimes.
Yeah.
He wants to settle down.
Yeah. Well, he was looking for a wife, wasn't he?
Well,
he
you
was
see,
trying to seduce
in the novel, the Irma Brunt, the woman that he's with in Piz Gloria is his wife.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, we don't find that out until the next book, but yeah.
I imagine in the next movie he'll be looking for money again there and stuff like.
Well, who knows if he ever turns up again? We'll find. You know nothing yet.
Yeah.
But true. So, before we move on to like where this fits in what you've seen so far. there's quite a contrast, I think, in this film between the fact that you've got those alpine scenes, but then you've got like Corsica and it's all kind of sunny and bright. Did you notice that? Or does that come across like? I think there's an artistic decision taken to kind of present different locations and, you know, try and get as much on screen as possible. Did that come across at all?
Yeah, there was definitely like kind of more of an emphasis to get like good shots and like scenic shots and like panning shots and stuff. Like I picked up on that definitely.
Because a lot of the movies so far have seen Bond go to a location, and that's where the film kind of pans out. So we've had Japan, and we've had Jamaica and so on and so forth. This one seemed to be a little bit more epic in that regard. Is that fair?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. And also, like, I think a little bit more respectful and less kind of, you know, like...
a little bit more respectful in what way?
Well, like before, it's, you know, it's kind of like being in the Caribbean and being in Japan, it was a bit of a spectacle, you know, and it was kind of like, especially Japan, it's like there's like loads of Orientalism going on and everything. Yeah. Whereas here, it seemed to be a little more kind of, you know, artistic, if you will. Like it wasn't trying to force culture, like, you know.
I think it's beautifully directed. I think it's one of those occasions where everything's just come together. Okay, you've got an actor who has never been an actor before, and you've still got a fairly goofy storyline, but the writing and the direction and the art of the whole thing and the music all just comes together.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think as a film it is a little bit too long, but I've watched it maybe 3 times this year already.
Oh, really?
Not 29, in the last year.
Right, yeah.
And I find it quite easy to go through.
Right.
Just because I just think it's really good fun, and I see different things each time I watch it.
Yeah.
Which is quite helpful if you're a fan of something.
It was the ending. It was just like the prolonged action, which just seemed unnecessary, like compared to the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Right? It didn't need it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what but I guess that was kind of, it was trying to be something else, but it still had to be James Bond.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you had this like old Bond like for 25 minutes or whatever at the end, and then it slows down again for the wedding, and it was like this new Bond again. So it was kind of like a bit jarring.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah,
that's what it was.
I can understand that. Some lovely artistic shots though. I think of things like that scene near the beginning when he's in the hotel, and it's looking down at the swimming pool, and then it turns to night, and you see the reflection of the casino lights. In
that's
the
pretty cool. And then you kind of like mentioned it when we were watching the scene on the Alps, and he's like fighting and throwing people off, and then he looks down, and it's like the town. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, there's some really good use of sunlight as well when they were at dawn or at dusk. There was some beautiful shots there. So I think it's really good. And obviously there's like avalanche scene where I think they managed to just kind of be there at the right time to capture an avalanche, which gives it a little bit of authenticity, because I'm not sure how they would have done that, or even if it had been in the film, well, maybe they would have resolved that in a different way. Okay, so what do you make of George Lazenby as a whole then?
I think, I guess I liked that he couldn't deliver one-liners, so they didn't put one-liners in. I like
there
that.
were a few. But
there was a few, and everyone was a swing and a miss, I think.
Yeah.
But I thought, he was. I think he made the character his own, which is respectful. Right? I think that's good. Still, my favorite Bond is the first one.
Yeah.
I think the brooding Bond.
Yeah.
But then this would be followed, this Bond would be followed, but he was woody, wooden, and he didn't seem completely comfortable all the time. Doesn't have the swagger like Sean Connery does. But I liked that this Bond was a little more had a little more restraint. He wasn't as horny as Sean Connery's character, and
Well, he tried his best with those girls in the. Blofeld's hideout.
Yeah, but it just the audience knew and Bond knew that he could have had any one of them, but he showed a little more kind of restraint and less kind of.
Well, I suppose if you're going to have him marry at the end of the film and fall in love and that, I suppose you've got to take that. He's
got to be a different guy, yeah. But I liked that the Bond was a little different.
Did you miss Sean Connery?
No, not really. I wasn't. Not at all.
So out of the films, where does this kind of sit?
Yeah, that's a funny one. I feel like it's probably the. Yeah, see, It's like, what do I want from a Bond movie? So like, if I just
don't know.
want like...
You've now watched 6.
Yeah.
And you've seen the trailer to the 1967 Casino Royale.
Oh yeah.
Which I haven't made you watch.
Yeah.
Which I think I've been really kind about.
Yeah, I think we could.
But that's basically because I don't ever want to watch it.
I don't want to see Woody Allen. I think it's a tie, like from Russia with Love. I got it right this time.
You did get it right this time.
And then yeah, I think it's it's between those two. It's either 1 or 2. I think like if I want like Bond. If I want to watch like a good Bond movie, I think it would be this one. But if I want to watch just like like an action Bond, it will still be From Russia with Love.
I think that's a fair comment. I think that this is just really competent. This is just really well done. But that's not necessarily what you always want. You might just want something a bit more light-hearted.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think as we watch more Bond films, you'll be able to see that there are some which are a bit more serious and some which are a bit more light-hearted. And some which are a bit more fun to watch.
Yeah.
But as a movie, I genuinely think it's all downhill from here. I think this is the best.
Oh no.
So, but we've only got 19 to go, right? So it'll be fine.
And then by the time we finish, there'll be an extra one probably.
Yeah, I think I was including that. Well, it's difficult to count these things because I might include some extra films along the way.
Oh, okay.
But that will make sense at some point.
Alright.
But no, I think this is certainly my favourite. From Russia with Love is brilliant, really good.
Yeah.
And one final thing then. So those 2 movies are both quite close to the novels.
Oh, is that so? Okay.
And so is that telling us something about these movies? Do you think?
Do you think perhaps that they need to get better screenwriters for the other ones? Like maybe, perhaps that's what it is.
Maybe. I mean, Ian Fleming. People said, well, you can't really transfer his books onto the screen, and yet here we are saying that the ones that they've tried to do that are actually the best ones.
I mean, we still see that like with modern movies. Hey, like a lot of modern movies that are true to the book tend to be better.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's true. A lot of people want to see the novel faithfully done, don't they?
Yeah.
But novel writing and movie making are different things as well.
Yeah, you have to be adapted. I think The Hunger Games is a good example here. Like it's I don't know if you read the books.
No, I have seen one of the movies.
I've read the books and I've watched the movies, and like they deviate a little bit from, but they cut what's needed to be cut and they change stuff for the screen in a very good way. Like, but I think also Susan Collins, the author, had her fingers in production as well. So I think that probably helped.
I'm just getting to the end of the Harry Potter novels.
Oh, okay.
And I've seen most of the movies, and I I mean, part of the problem is that the novels ended up being so long.
Right. Yeah.
It's very difficult to do them in one movie, and I think they should have made a decision to split them up a bit.
Well, that's what they did with The Hunger Games. Like the third book, they split it too, which was probably a good thing.
Thankfully, Ian Fleming didn't write really, really long novels.
Yeah, that'd be, I mean, because that movie felt pretty long.
Yeah.
So, like,
I'm sorry, it didn't zip by. It did for me.
No, it wasn't, it didn't, like, I wasn't kind of, like, thinking, like, an hour in, like, when's this thing gonna end? But it was just kind of, like, you could kind of see where it was going out.
Cool. So, do you know anything about Diamonds Are Forever?
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it? No. Cool. Okay, well, we'll find out next time, won't we?
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool, bye.